Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most important video you will ever watch in your entire life. With that being said, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd, this brand new album that just dropped yesterday. And I already made a PowerPoint, I'm not going to lie to you. With that being said though, get some cranberry juice and some Cheerios, you know what I'm saying, something to snack on, just to enjoy this video. And with that being said, we're going to start off with the pros here. The first pro I'm going to talk about here is the transitions on this album were absolutely and utterly beautiful. Like, I'm talking about, like, you would hear some crazy instruments going slowly fading out. I'm like, how is he gonna even match this with the next song? You know what I'm saying? How is this gonna match with the rest of the album? And then he starts off the next song perfectly fading into that and continuing the excitement and mystery throughout the entire album. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. If I tell you guys too much right now, we won't have a video. So number two, we have perfectly blended the best parts of his career. And we have some stuff, like we have some of the vocals and styles here from some of his older projects, as well as keeping a lot of inspiration from After Hours, honestly. And he even had a little bit of Don FM type of style in there, where he like I don't know how to describe, like, the little background voices that he'll do. He'll be like, this is what's happening in my life. You know what I'm saying? Incredible job at doing that. At number three, we have incredible production. Every single song on here had beautiful instruments throughout it, very like mystical type instruments, where I'm hearing this and I don't know if I'm ascending, I don't know what's happening to me, but like it's just beautiful, bro. At the end of the day, it's just beautiful. And I think it's a great send off to his, or not his career, but The Weeknd's career, if that makes sense, because he's talking about the fact that he's like done with The Weeknd, but he's still gonna make stuff, create stuff and whatnot. So number four, we have his vocals, and it's a Weeknd album, bro. I don't know what you're expecting. If you're listening to The Weeknd, I'm not like expecting him to sound like Kanye West singing. I'm expecting like it's The Weeknd, bro. He's like almost like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Very beautiful, high pitched voice is great, bro. It's like music to your ears, because it is music in your ears. At number five, we have hard hitting songs. People complained about Don FM for not having enough like hit power compared to After Hours. They had a lot more hits on After Hours, and Don FM was not as commercially celebrated as After Hours. But I think that this actually has a lot of potential. There's so many massive banger songs on here that there's a good chance that a lot of these do get like a lot more time to shine. With that being said, at number six, we have The Weeknd starts off after Friday. And I kind of like that. Like, he obviously he's going to drop on a Friday, because that's how you get the most numbers on your streaming. Like, you get the whole streaming week, and then you're like, oh, you sold this amount of copies during Friday to Friday. You know what I'm saying? That's like just how like the record industry works. You dig? But essentially here, I just like it, bro. I just like the fact that The Weeknd's today or tomorrow after he dropped this album. Zero filler is on this album. Despite having 22 songs, I thought there would be so much more filler on this album. I'm talking about every single song I was listening to. I was like, wow, this is crazy. The only ones that I skipped were the singles on the album. And I gotta go back and see how they fit in the album, because I know the album sequencing on here is really incredible. We're gonna talk about that in a couple more points here, most likely. I don't know if I already passed that point or not, but it's beautiful, bro. There's not a single point where I was like he was rushing this album. You could tell that he took a lot of his time and effort on every single individual song. With that being said, at number eight, great album sequencing. I knew I didn't forget it. I knew I did not forget it, and we're gonna talk about that now. The first song on here added so much mystery, such a long build-up, and it was a little bit long. We're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about the length of this album. I do think that this length of this album was not too bad. I think that it was pretty great, to be honest. I think that we're gonna talk about that too. Oh my god, how we have 2 points left on here and I'm still like, okay. The sequencing on this album was incredible, right? Song by song, I enjoyed every bit of it. Next we have I Can't Wait to Get There, as well as Cry For Me, are two incredible, beautiful songs. And number 10, we have incredible atmosphere. This entire album was like, wow, this is beautiful. Wow, this one's beautiful. Wow, this one's beautiful. And all in their own different way. There was so much versatility without having so much versatility. I don't even understand how. Okay, I'm glazing, bro. I'm glazing. Number 11, we have he channeled Michael Jackson's song around the 2-minute mark of Wake Me Up, bro. Listen to this song around like the 2-minute mark, and you'll hear some very Michael Jackson-esque vocals, bro. I know this is kind of a weird transition, I'm not gonna lie to you, from the last 10 points, but this is like 10-ish points of why I enjoyed this album. With that being said, the cons, right? The horrible, awful things about this album. I don't really have a lot to say here, so this is a lot shorter than the other stuff. Number 1 is he did not add Dancing in the Flames on here, despite it having a lot of commercial success. I hear it in the radios, bro. You go into the gas station to get like a Snickers bar or something, and all you hear in the background is Dancing in the Flames. I'm like, it's cool, bro. I enjoy the song. You know what I'm saying? It's a great song. I think that it should not have not been on the album. But you know what I think should not have been on the album is Sao Paulo. How do you not have your best single on the album, but you kept Sao Paulo? I don't think this song necessarily matches the rest of the vibe of the rest of the album. And I just didn't like this song that much. And I thought it was definitely the weakest single by a very, very long shot. I thought Timeless was a great single, all that. But this was not the best song I've heard. Number 3 is some of the lyrical content. I think that he kind of stepped down a little bit from his past works, and I don't go to The Weeknd for incredible lyrics, but at some points on this album, it sounds like he's saying things just to rhyme, and that's not like horrible, bro. I just don't think his pen game is the best of all time. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's up there for his pen game. I think it could have been a little bit more like more thought out. I don't know how to describe it. Like some of the lyrics on here are just like, come on, bro, you didn't have to say it. Like you didn't have to say that. You know, like there's some things that he's just like, I don't know. It sounds like he's just saying it because it rhymes. Number 4, we have Wake Me Up. Could have been a little bit shorter than a 5-minute song. This is the introduction of this album, and I discussed this earlier. It was a very long introduction. I loved the buildup of all this. I think it could have been like maybe even 4 minutes. This is kind of me nitpicking, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it could have been a little bit shorter than 5 minutes, bro, because by the end of the track I was like, okay, that might have cut into my like replayability of this song specifically. It did take a little bit of a long time to get into the next song, which, by the way, the next song was incredible. Cry For Me was beautiful, bro. I already talked about that. The overall excitement, the instrumentation on there was incredible. At number 5, we have the last song was a little bit tacky, maybe just a little bit tacky, knowing that it's actually the end of The Weeknd's like persona. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like a very big like, oh, this is the end. You know, it could have been considered a little bit tacky. That's also me nitpicking though. I don't think it was like horrible. I don't even think it was that tacky. I just got like a little hint of. You know what I'm saying? Like a little hint of, I don't know, man. But with that being said, at number 6, the fact that he is done. This is the most heartbreaking part of all. The Weeknd is no longer going to be blessing your ears, my ears, your grandpa's ears, the hella radio station's ears. You know what I'm saying? They play a lot of Weeknd. I'm not gonna lie. He's the biggest artist in the world. Oh, he might have been passed by Bruno Mars, but I don't really care, bro. And that's all, bro. I'm saying the last thing I want to say is that this album was like a 9.3 out of 10. Fire album. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I do think that this is. I don't know how this compares to his last 2 in this trilogy. I think we're gonna have to definitely drop a video on that very soon, discussing what's next for The Weeknd, as well as where does this album rank compared to his other albums. With that being said, though, thank you all very much for watching. I love you all very much. I'm conflicted, and I'm out. Peace.